What's up, everybody? John Grimsmo here, bringing you a series of videos. This will be part one. So we got some really big things going on right now. We got a new shop, and we've actually been looking for a new shop for the past 2 years. So this video, we're gonna go over the process and a bunch of the old footage that I've taken from every shop that we went to show you guys the mindset and the places we looked at and what we liked, what we didn't. So it'll be fun to go through that footage and explain it afterwards. But we're very excited. Like, we're at the point now, early January 2020, we've found the perfect place and we've already got it. Like, we haven't moved in yet, but we're starting the process. So now we can launch the video series, and each video is going to be like each section, like airlines will be one video, plumbing will be one video, epoxy the floor will be another video, moving the machines will be another video. So it's going to be awesome. We got so much stuff going on. So let's dig right into this. Let's watch the first shop that we looked at. We actually put this video up on YouTube, the full version, about 2 years ago. And so I'm gonna watch it, and you guys will watch it, and then we'll talk about it after. So this is about 8,000 square feet, and then there is a bunch of office area in the front. I'll show you in a second. Air conditioning, which is huge. Windows, which is huge. We super duper miss windows in our shop. Like, look how far away he is. Hi, Eric. That's one office. I don't think it's available right now. This is huge though. Like, we don't need this, but maybe we'd use it for assembly, for quality control, I mean, it's only 2 offices. It's this big one, and then that one in the front, or maybe 2 in the front. Like, we do need some office areas. Aaron needs a place to edit quietly. This is a nice little office. Beautiful window. We just miss windows. So that's our reconnaissance mission. It's been a lot of fun. I'm glad we did it, because you need to wrap your head around what's out there, and we have a lot to think about. This place, I actually still really like this place. I drive by it every day on my way to work. It's like, I don't know, 2-3 minutes away from my house. So it's kind of the one that got away, but when we looked, even now, it was far too big. It was quite expensive. It was like 11 to 12,000 square feet, and 2 years ago we just weren't there yet. We weren't at the scale, at the money, at the ability to afford that kind of rent. And even now, like, we could have made it work now, but I'm much happier with the place we ended up getting. So this launched the beginning of looking into these new places, and I'm really glad we got to do it, even if we weren't at the point of being ready yet. But yeah, it certainly got our juices flowing and got us thinking about it. And that was 2 years ago. Part of me can't believe it took 2 years to get to the next phase, but I'm glad it did. I'm glad everything's worked out the way it has. So let's go on to the next shop. This one I was pretty excited about. This shop, man, I absolutely fell in love with this shop. It was through a friend's word of mouth. It was not on the market. It wasn't even, the guy wasn't even really thinking about it. He had told his friend, who I'm friends with, that so the owner had thought about retiring and closing down the business and didn't know what to do with this beautiful building that he built in the past 5 years. Invested a ton of money, put radiant floor in all the concrete, and still had like 6 to 8 inches of concrete. And
The place was immaculate. It was really nice. It was LED lit. It was super clean, super warm, super beautiful. He did a really, really, really good job. And Eric and I got very excited. It was up in the country, middle of nowhere, not an industrial zone. It didn't have power. It didn't have three-phase power. That was a big thing for us, because that would have cost a lot of money to have the city run power from across the street into the building, like tens of thousands of dollars. So that was a big downer for that. But also the shop itself, including offices and everything, was only about 4,000 square feet, which was kind of cramming the limit that we wanted. In our old shop right here, we've got kind of 1,500 square feet if you count everything. So 4,000 was on the low end, but it was just so beautiful. And the location, and out in the country, and you'd like look out the door and you'd see deer and turkeys and stuff like that, and it would have been amazing. But again, it wasn't. We would have made a good job there, but it wasn't. It didn't work out. That's all it was. It didn't work out. He ended up keeping the business going, and it just didn't work out, and that's fine. This place was interesting because it kind of came up at a time when we were actually ready-ish to get a place. I think it was early 2019. Now 2019 is when we got the Tornos and I'd ordered it, the Swiss lathe, and we were like, well, you know, like March, April, May, the machine hadn't come yet, and we're like, well, do we just move? And do we just get the Tornos delivered there? Like, should we just do this right now? And it didn't work out that way, so we ended up cramming everything in here. But then we bought the Kern, which is coming, our 5-axis machine, and we needed a place to put that for sure. So this place, it was convenient because it was really close. It was like, I don't know, like 5-6 industrial blocks away, just a few miles or kilometers away. Big, it was 8,000 square feet, mostly warehouse. Some kind of dingy offices in the front, not super impressive. You know, we would have had to renovate that and make it even usable, and not just be a dump, because like, we run a high-end company. We appreciate nice things. It's not about the luxury necessarily. It's about the quality and the ambiance and just the, I don't know, we like nice stuff for lots of different reasons. But it was a big space, decent floors, had enough power. Like, these are the things I think about when I'm looking for a building. It's got to have power. It's got to be in a decent location. It's got to have either truck loading or UPS deliveries. And you start to think about how you're going to get the water to all the sinks, and where you're going to put sinks, and where you're going to put air plumbing, and how you're going to run the electrical for the power to the machines, where you're going to put all the machines. Is the floor thick enough? Because typically a CNC machine is going to want 4 to 6 inches of solid concrete. And then if you're buying something crazy, like technically the Kern that I'm getting should be on, I don't know, 2 feet of concrete, but the work that we're doing is going to be fine on 6 inches. But some people that buy Yazdas, they literally cut a huge pad and they put 2 feet of concrete in. That's insane. But there's a lot of thought that goes into the process of leasing a building. You know, we looked into leasing, we looked into buying. A lot of it's depending on what's available, and you kind of just, there's timing. So when you need it, based on what's available, based on what your budget is, those are kind of probably the 3 levels that you're always trying to balance. But this place was like available, you know, and like it kind of ticked the boxes, and we could have made a lot of it work, but we would have had to put a lot of like structural work into it, you know, adding bathrooms and renovating offices and all that stuff. So this is the one that if we were pressed for time for whatever reason, we might have gotten, but I'm glad we didn't. And of course, hindsight is 2020. You know, the place that we got, you'll see coming up is mint. It's like so good. So everything's worked out. Let's check out the next place. Eric, once again. This place is pretty sweet, but it's huge. Let's take a look up here. This is the back, huge bay shop area with some bathroomage.
It gives you some idea. From here you start to see some other stuff up on the mezzanine. So you need a hunting knife for the front, separate for the back, but the one for the back also opens the gate.
So there's a ton of places we did look at that we didn't get to film, or I just glanced at and I was like, nope, layer out of here. Or specifically a lot of places I would look at online, like Realtor.ca is kind of our big realtor website here that all the realtors kind of MLS puts it all together and lets you see what's available. So you go to it, you search by commercial, you search by land size, by purchase or lease, and you kind of filter through and you find what you want. And I've been hounding that for like a year. And I found some stuff through there that I wanted to go see, so I talked to my realtor. The realtor that I'm using is the guy that found us this shop that we've been in for the past almost 5 years. He found us our house, my wife and I's house. He didn't find the house, but he helped broker the deal and everything. And so we've mostly been using him for finding all these shops. And it's been nice to have a realtor. But not always. Like, the thing with working with the realtor is you give them your parameters and then they just throw stuff at you and you're like, no, I don't want that. That's not even, did you even listen to what I said? No. Especially when buying a house, my wife was crazy like that. She's like, all these realtors just keep sending me stupid stuff. But they're trying, which is good. So this place, realtor took us to, it was huge, 16,000 square feet. Could have been partitioned into 2 units, like somebody else rents out the back half, we rent out the front half. The offices were tight, they were really nice. But the back 8,000 square feet was just open office with like an upstairs kitchen / open urinal situation going on, which is kind of like weird. But, and then it's like almost too much space, and it was close, but the biggest thing I didn't like about it is it was too far away. I didn't want to drive half an hour to work, me personally. Now we have 8 people working here, so our current shop right now is literally central. We've got people, 20 minutes this way, we've got Eric and I 12 minutes this way, and then we've got other people. What do you take, Fraser?
It's about 30 minutes.
30 minutes for you? You're like at the extreme.
Yeah.
So, 30 minutes this way, 20 to 30 minutes this way. Eric and I are 12 here. I personally don't want to drive more than 12 to get to my shop when I come in on the weekends or nights or whatever, and just I get to make that choice. This place was too far for me. So that was one of the things. And it was too big, and it was complicated, and it was kind of expensive price-wise. And yeah, those things add up, and it's hard to say no when you have something available and you're like, but we could make it work. But sometimes you just gotta be firm, you gotta be patient, you just gotta, let it ride out. And it's really hard to say no when you're antsy, you're getting ready to go. I can see here it's summer, wearing t-shirts, so that's a while ago. It's like January 1st now, or January, 10th? So that was a while ago. That was a big... Oh, and then, okay. And then on the same day, I'll show you the next shop right now that we looked at directly after that. So I didn't get a lot of footage inside that place, but too big and too far away, too expensive. Like, good price per square foot, but 16,000 square feet is insane. So at a second place right now,
Let's check it out.
But I mean, you guys are looking for a shop as well, office space and everything, right?
Yeah.
We'd have to build quite a bit.
Lay it down.
It's big, empty. It doesn't have any offices though, but it's
Or
not-
anything really. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a sweet open space, probably 10,000
Yeah, just shy of 10.
between both places, but it's pretty blank canvas. Good floors. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a nice place. So Eric and I were talking about seeing all these shops just gives you that extra data point. Price, location, accessibility, distance from home, conditions inside. Barry said he saw the bathroom and he's like, you don't even want to see the bathroom.
It was just this like plywood built box in the corner of the room of a big empty shop.
Yeah, with raised piping, he said, and it was just weird. But that's okay. To each their own. We just have elevated standards.
Yeah, we don't want a place that's worse than the current place.
No, of course. And I don't want a place that's the same or similar, We want to
Yeah.
step up and enjoy what we've created and make a great working environment for everybody in the team. So, I mean, that last place we saw, not this one, but the one before that, was pretty good.
Kind of on the right page.
Just, it's far from home. We'd have to subdivide half of it to somebody else. So it gets a little complicated. Price was good, but we're thinking. But while there, talking to the other realtor there, he's like, oh, I got a place in your hometown that it's going up tomorrow. So it's these little connections you put together that leads you to stuff that's not listed yet. That's cool. All right, this next place, the realtor found it on the listing. It was big open warehouse, the dingiest little bathroom in the corner that was almost a hole in the ground, and it would have needed a lot. But it was a pretty hard pass on that one. But it shows you what's available, and it was in a dingy part of town. I didn't want to be down there, and yeah, pretty easy to say no to that guy. That's all that needs to be said about that one. All right, on to the next. This one's a big one. So Eric and I are out here in the middle of nowhere, about to walk into a shop that I've been driving by for a long time, realized it was vacant, went through a whole lot of work to be able to get a tour, a showing right now, and I have no idea what it looks like inside. I'm very hopeful this might be the future home of Grimsmo Knives. Let's take a look.
The building, so you're going to see that. And I'm not sure. I'm sure you won't need any of it, but if you're going to do that, you probably don't need drainage in every 50 or 60 square feet of.
No, a little bit of drainage.
So this brings us to September 2019. I'm starting to get really antsy now. The shop's getting bigger. We still had 7 employees, and the Tornos was here running. The Kern was coming soon. I didn't know when exactly in the fall it was coming. Turns out it's not coming till January. But I'm ready to rock right now. I need a place. The Kern is coming. We need a place to put it. We need to grow. We need to expand. I'm freaking out right now. And so I'm getting as creative as possible. I'm asking everybody in my circle, yeah, we're moving shop. Do you know anybody? Have you heard of anything? I'd love to be out in the country. We have beautiful countryside out here, but we also have this Hamilton sprawl industrial area that gets grosser the deeper into Hamilton you get. Luckily, we're a good half hour away from it, but I don't want to be in deep, heavy, gross industry. I'd love to be out in the country. So how did I even find this place? Oh, that's the best story. Okay. Clara and I, my daughter Clara, she's 9 years old, we were driving to go to the movie theater late at night. I forget exactly what we watched. Maybe it was Jumanji or something like that. No, it wasn't that. Anyway, went to go watch something, and I decided to take not the highway, but I took the country roads, and I'm driving through, and I'm driving by this building. She's telling me a story about National Geographic Kids or something. And I look over, and I see this building, and it's run down. And I can tell the grass hasn't been cut. And I'm nobody works there anymore. I've driven by this building for years. Nobody works there right now. I hit the brakes. I backed up in the middle of the country road. Nobody around. And I looked over and I was like, hey, Clara, what about that place? And she goes, I don't know. So then we went on to the movie, and all I could think about was, how do I get in contact? How do you find out who owns a building in the country? So first chance I could, I Googled on my phone, how do you find who's... And it turns out, I think I paid like $30 or something to the town to get the records, the ownership records of who's got that property. And it was owned by this corporation who bought it, yada yada. I can't get into too many details, but anyway, it was owned by a corporation that obviously had an agenda based on the type of corporation that it was. And so I reached out to them and I found out the guy's name, and I'm like, how do I find the guy? So I Googled, I found him on LinkedIn. I don't use LinkedIn for anything, but I found him anyway. And I was like, I created a profile and I'm like, wait. If I, as a new LinkedIn user, he has nothing to fall back on. If I send him some random message like, hey, can I rent your shop or can I buy it? And so I got pretty deep into the LinkedIn thing, but then I killed it. And then I found the guy on Instagram doing another search, and I found him on Instagram. And I was like, dude, okay, I'll just send him an Instagram DM. And because I use Instagram a lot. So as a back check, all he has to do is click on my profile, see 35,000 subscribers, see all my pictures, like know everything about me pretty much, everything he needs to know to make a decision. And so I did that. I sent him a DM, and like 3-4 days later, I'm freaking out the whole time, like, oh, is he gonna get back to me? Is he ever gonna see it? I don't know. And so he gets back to me, and I was like, oh, dude, he got back to me. And I basically sent him a pretty short and quick thing. I was like, hey, check out our page. We're looking to rent or buy a building in the next like few months. I noticed your place is not being used for anything. Random question, but can we work out something here? And he seemed super interested. Apparently they bought it for what they were gonna do. It didn't work out, lots of legalities and legislation and all that stuff. And he was on the fence with what they were gonna do. So this strung along for literally 2 months. Probably started in August, and then October, late September, October, we finally, got enough back and forth. He was hard to get a hold of to see the place. So what I also did, because I've seen the outside, I walked around it, no windows really, so I couldn't see on the inside. I didn't know what was going on, but it was huge. It was 26,000 square feet, which is ridiculous. But the cool thing about paying that $35 to get the records is I know exactly what price he paid for that entire 9-acre property or something like that, like 3 minutes from my house in the country, stunning, gorgeous. So he had paid, do I want to share this? Fine, I'll share it. He had paid, it was $1.5 million Canadian, which sounds like a lot, but property around here is ridiculous. So that makes sense. I've seen other shops go for $5 million that are smaller. So 1.5 is not a ridiculous amount of money for what it is. And I was like, we could probably get bank financing for that. Holy crap. Maybe not today, but like within a year or something like that. So anyway, lots of back and forth. We chatted on the phone a couple times. The guy is so busy. He's like, oh, I'm in Thailand, I'm in Europe. He was busy. But let's see what else happened. Anyway, I asked him, I was like, basically, I don't think I can buy it today because I'm buying the Kern, I'm buying the Torna. So we've got a lot of things going on right now. We're not sitting on a huge pile of cash to put 10% down on $1.5 million building. But I was like, could we rent it? Could we like lease it for a year and then option to buy after a year or something like that? And he's like, maybe. So at this point, I haven't seen the inside of the building. But what I did do is I Googled the address, and I went deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and I found out the company that was there before, and I found the auction listing of when they were getting rid of all their equipment. And all those pictures, there must have been 100 pictures of all the equipment that they were doing. And I'm like, zoom out, I want to see the rest of the building. But that gave me a mental image of what was inside the building. And it was sweet, gigantic, but sweet. 26,000 square feet, ridiculous. The place we ended up getting is 9,000 across 2 buildings. But I was like, you know what, if the price is right and the lease payments or the mortgage payments end up being similar to what we're gonna be paying for a lease payment anywhere else, like, who cares if there's extra space? So I was going back and forth, back and forth. According to these auction listing sites, the place looked mint. It looked immaculate inside. Floors were great, tons of room, lights, walls, everything was, it's an industrial warehouse, beautiful. And then this happened the second we walked inside. So we're walking through, literally didn't know what was gonna happen right now. And we look inside and we see this. And we're like, what the crap is happening right now? This beautiful shop has been literally torn apart for irrigation. So, watch my step here. Definitely was not expecting the floors to be gone. They did it to put irrigation plumbing in everywhere.
But bright side, we know how thick the concrete is here.
Yeah, extraordinarily thick.
Yeah, it's
It's
like
like
8 inches.
8, 10, maybe. Hard to say. Probably 8. Plenty. But clearly that would have to be fixed.
Yeah.
Look at how much drainage there is, though.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Interesting.
Backhoe just.
Yeah, so
everywhere.
I've only seen the outside of the building. We haven't seen the inside. I've been working on trying to get inside this building for 3 months now, and here we are. It's different than I expected. Definitely didn't expect the floors, but it is very cool.
Yeah.
So it'll require more work than we kind of hoped going into it, if we did.
Yeah, we saw pictures from before this round of owners, and the place looked really nice with good floors
It
and
was
everything.
nice. My realtor reached out to me and he's like, hey, I've got a place literally right across the street from you guys. Now, I've driven by this place many times, like every day, literally, for the past 5 years. I've driven by it. Never really looked too closely at it, but he's like, let's go check it out. And I'm like, I don't know, I really like this place up on the mountain. But he's like, no, let's go check it out. And Barry was really insistent. He's like, we need a plan B. We need a plan B. And I'm like, no plan B. But it was good that we had a plan B. So your realtor comes over, we walk across the street, we check out the place, and it's literally like, actually I think we also have the first footage, the first walk around footage. Maybe we'll use that. We're walking around like thinking to ourselves, this place is really nice. Like really nice. Size is right, location's right, money was right. I forget exactly what we're paying, but most of these places were in the $7 to $9 per square foot range. So you got 1,000 square feet, $7 per square feet. So if a place is $7 per square feet times 1,000 is obviously $7,000, divided by 12 is $583 per month, give or take. That's for 1,000 square feet. Here we're paying, I think we're paying $1,800 per month, Canadian, for this 900 square foot unit and the 600 square foot beside it. So, I mean, we're paying $1,800 a month now. We're looking at places that are going to be anywhere from $5,000 to up to some of the bigger places were like $15,000 a month. That's a lot of money to get out per month. Apparently, if you live in more urban areas, more like cities, it gets a lot more expensive. So I'm glad that we don't necessarily live in like New York City or something ridiculous like that. But yeah. The other trick that they do with real estate is they list the price per square foot. They might list it as $4, but then they add what they call TMI. Maybe it's different in the States, but in Canada they call it TMI, which is taxes, maintenance, and insurance. So the owner of that building doesn't want to pay his own taxes, property taxes, so he makes the tenant do it. And then maintenance, like whether it's replacing something that's broken, or roof, or walls, or doors, or whatever, and then insurance for the building as well. So price per square foot plus TMI equals your actual price. And it took me a little while to wrap my head around this and be able to see listings for what they were and be able to get a mental like monthly cost in my head. So anyway, we walked across the street, and the order of events, this was probably October 2019, walked across the street, walked back. Eric, Barry, and I were standing outside chatting this over, and literally within less than an hour of seeing the place, we called our realtor and we're like, yeah, we're in, let's do this. And I was still hot on this place, so I resisted because I'm like, I'm still in love with the big place. But I had to take some time to realize that was not going to work out. It was going to be way too expensive, way too much work, way too much space, way too much time. We didn't have the time to do all that reno. And then here we have, a bird in the hand kind of thing is available. So I'm glad we did it. And we committed to that. We're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And then all of a sudden that decision was off my mind. I could move on to other decisions, to what it's going to take to renovate that shop, to what I want to put in there, to what the future growth is going to look like, what our budget planning is going to look like, because now we have a more concrete plan of what the rent's going to be like. And I think now our rent's going to be, I feel bad that I forget, but there's so many numbers in our head. I think it's going to be about $8,000 a month. So going from $2,000 a month to $8,000, it's a big freaking deal. But growth of the company, we need it. We need the space. And it's gonna be epic. So, unless I can think of anything else in the next few seconds, that concludes this shop video. It's nice to have a chance to talk and tell stories a little bit. I don't get to do that too often. It makes the clips longer, but you know, you guys like it. Something I want to really try hard to do in the next year and future, Fraser, pay attention, but is I want to get you guys more into my mindset of why I'm doing things, why I'm making these decisions, what it actually takes, the kind of, you guys have no idea the anguish that I put myself through trying to make all these decisions. Like I'm getting emotional thinking about it because it's massive. And I don't share, I don't talk about it, I don't tell anybody, I suffer. And that's okay, because that's like the vision and the goals that I want are so gigantic that I'm willing to put in any amount of work to make that happen. So yeah, it was a lot of work to find this place that we're leasing, not buying. Although I did ask the guys how much to buy it, and the price is not bad. So if we ever did want a long-term solution to this thing and buy them out, this could be our place forever. I don't know. We also have the option in the next few years, if we make the kind of money I want to make, we could build our own place and make it perfect. So that's like in 5 years we might be doing that. But this place we got, as we get this series out and all the parts and you guys see what we're putting into it, and we're gonna move in and the filming we're gonna do and the set we're gonna make, it's gonna be like, so excited. This place is perfect. It's perfect for now. It's not perfect for 50 years, but it's perfect for the next 3 to 5. And I'm super happy. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for part 2, where we're gonna get over there. Part 2 is probably gonna be epoxy, which is currently happening right now. So we've already filmed a lot of it. It's not done yet. And we'll go on from there. So thanks guys, bye.